As I've used the scraper for part of this, I feel that I need to show you the full range of abrasive papers. Starting off with 150 grit, and you see that the paper's folded in half so that we get a good hold of it, and it's used quite fast so that there's no build-up of heat. From 150 we moved to 240 grit and go over the whole pen again. From 240 to 320, each grade is taking us smoother. Each grade of paper or abrasive should only be used to erase the marks of the previous grade. Therefore, the finer the finish you get with a chisel, the finer the paper you can start with. In our case, we used 150 to take away the chisel marks. We've used 240 to take away the marks of the 150. We've used the 320 to take away the marks of the 240, and the final grade there was 400 grit. Remember, a pen is something that is going to be held, and therefore whoever is using it will feel any imperfections, so be quite fussy with the paper. You see here that I'm using a different style of paper, and I'm moving from 400 to 600 to 800. You take it to as fine a grade of paper as you feel necessary. Having got the finish to a satisfactory level, we're now going to put on the first finishing coat. In this case, I'm using a friction polish. This is put on with a cloth. For safety reasons, the cloth should be of the tearable type so it doesn't get caught round. I'm using an actual dishcloth here, so I've made it up into a ball, added a small amount of the friction polish, reduced the speed of the lathe, and I'm applying several coats, making sure that I rub this in. It is called friction polish for a reason. The friction polish will dry instantly. Because the friction polish dries instantly, we can move straight away to the next level, which is to use a hard wax. In this case I'm going to use a Liberon wax, which is quite hard. You could use beeswax. This is applied to the wood, and initially it'll look as though you've made the finish worse because it goes dull. But once it's applied, then it gets rubbed, and in this case I'm using one of those tearable cloths. The friction of the polishing action with the cloth actually melts the wax and makes it run to a nice smooth gloss over the whole surface. Sometimes, in order to achieve the high gloss finish, it's necessary to bump the speed of the lathe back up again. Several coats of the wax are required to give a good durable finish, and each one is put on the same way. Put on, polished, etc. Although the video isn't clear, you should start to get the impression from the video of a polished piece of wood. And by using the wax in a clear way, you can get a very high gloss polish. That's it made, so now on to assembly. Before assembly, lay the parts out in order. By doing this, you know where everything is and that you know that you have all the parts that you require. From the nib to the mechanism. Note the brass end on the mechanism, that marks the depth to which it's inserted. The refill and the centre ring just coming into picture, as well as the clip and the top. Under normal circumstances there is no gluing. Each part fits with an interference fit, which means they need pressed. To do this I will be using a pen press, but this can be achieved in a vise or drill. Start with the nib. This simply gets pressed into your crafted pen. Make sure that everything's straight and the process will be much easier and there will be no damage to any of your parts. The next piece to go in is a mechanism. This means that it's a much longer item to press. The mechanism has to go in the correct way up, and the only indicator of that is the brass end. Again, ensure it's straight. Push it down till you've submerged the brass into the pen front, and then check it. That means putting the refill in, checking the mechanism. Make sure the mechanism works, make sure the correct amount of nib is showing through, and adjust it at this stage till you get what you're looking for. With the pen press I now need to put the platform back in place. This is so that I can do the clip and the top. Process is very similar to putting the nib on. And now for the final touch. The ring, the gold ring, goes on first, then the top with clip, pushed on, and you have a complete pen.